while Nick refuses to share his boxing bets with me, I figured the best, and by that's not a selfish thing.
Hang on, I'll give my picks. No,
Okay,
go on.
No, I think the last time, I think it was a random UFC card, I texted a group chat we're on about something like who I was at a casino and I hadn't followed it at all. I'm like, who's the pick? And I think the response was, I'm not sharing my picks right now. I appreciate if you respect my family's privacy in this time, because I think you had just lost one. But that's not the point. It was mostly joking. The point is, the level of knowledge and passion for boxing in particular is, in my opinion, neck and neck with where you're at in poker. People just don't know it because you weren't a boxer, you're a poker player. So there's a couple really interesting fights this weekend. There's the Pacquiao fight and there's the Usyk fight in London. I think the Pacquiao fight you're going to be, right at in Vegas, I assume. So let's start there and then go to some other ones. I have not followed this as closely as you, I'm sure. I know there was some line movement in the Pacquiao fight.
Right.
So give us. Okay.
Get my glasses on for the boxing. And let's just be clear about something. Like, I'm getting Merry Christmas cards from bookies. Like, I I believe the generational run is coming in the boxing. In MMA, I'm a huge whale. Also diehard. I watch every interview. I watch every fight. Like, I want to chop it up about boxing and really talk about these fights, but this is not. I'm not saying I'm sharp. I'm not saying follow me. TVK was telling me before I came on that I never saw a dog I didn't like. That's a little bit true. That sometimes they dangle a dog in front of me and I just can't take it. We've had our ups and downs, perhaps more downs, although I've caught heat lately in the fight game and it's going to happen. So you could either hop on the train now or keep doubting me. Right. You want to go the other way? We could talk, we could chop lines. I'm not short on confidence, but I'm short on results.
Okay. All right. So I'll look at the lines of all these fights, courtesy of our friends at DraftKings, and we'll get to that in a minute. I also want to clarify for the diehard gambling or Vegas audience, whale means big losing better. So when Nick just said I'm a UFC whale, he wasn't saying like I crush UFC better.
Right.
He means you don't.
At least in my definition, that's right. Yeah, it means what you said. Yes.
Yeah. You oddly don't want to be a whale. It sounds like something you'd want to be. You don't want. I guess it's nice to be able to have the ability to be a whale because it means you have the money, but you don't really want to be a whale because. Okay. So with all that said, Nick's real concern is. And I'm just going to tell the audience, he is not a tout and does not want to be anyone to think he's being a tout. What he is giving, his boxing analysis that, like you said, the heater of a lifetime is coming and they're going to build a statue outside the arena. It's going to happen. We know it. Let's start with Pacquiao Barrios.
Okay. So Pacquiao, if I may, I got plus 410-ish a while ago. I was walking through the Aria. I was in the sports book.
Never met a dog you don't like.
Manny Pacquiao plus 410 against Mario Barrios. Is he 46? Yes. Is he coming back just for the money? We don't know. I believe in him. I've now watched every interview and stuff, and I'm starting to believe vintage Pac-Man might show up. And by the way, the line has moved to roughly 240. We have to be happy crushing the closing line. One specialty of mine is in the MMA is beat the line and just still lose. That one I'm amazing at. And also I could get bad lines and also still lose. It's a very interesting fight. When you think in boxing of older fighters, you think of George Foreman and Bernard Hopkins, who both did magical things in their mid to late 40s. We've never really seen a little guy who relied on blistering speed and combinations and footwork come back in their mid 40s and make it happen. But Pacquiao's Filipino, and one thing I know about these Filipino guys from the pool room, man, not to generalize a whole nation, but they just have a lot of hustle. This guy's razor sharp. He plays a little poker himself, by the way. He's a good chess player. He's actually a great pool player. I mean, every Filipino guy kind of is, but I believe he might have game planned. He might have known something about Barrios' style. He's a little flat-footed. Maybe he can get in and out and have a vintage night, and it would be a pretty special night, a la the grinder, like,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So you're rooting for Pacquiao because you bet him. Also, how much of that line movement was your bet by itself? Possibly some of it.
Not too much. Don't get me wrong. We have a position, but nothing crazy. Like,
but you think he has more than a puncher's chance? You think he has a real chance? And
I
for
think
people
there's
that
a chance he stone out classes him, boxes his ears off, and makes it look easy. I also think it could be a tragic night where it looks like he came back for the money and he's just stuck in the mud and gets hurt bad. That's possible.
And is there anything for the audience that hasn't seen Barrios, like what type of fighter he is, like what you expect from him?
He has a stiff jab. He's not the quickest guy, but he has heavy hands, and he's been in there with a lot of good guys. He's won most of his fights. He's a real champion through and through, and he's he's a Mexican from San Antonio, and a lot of people talk about these Mexicans like they're just willing to die in there and this and that, but he really seems like he is kind of, tons of heart, big nuts, like great fighter, but vintage Pac-Man would wash him. Everybody knows it. No disrespect, could be wrong, but we're talking about an 8 division world champion, all-time great who, vintage Pac was one of the greatest fighters of all time. So if that guy shows up, it could be a quick night. People are saying it like, people are acting like they're rolling your grandfather out to get out with the cane. This is Manny Pacquiao, man. He's been in the gym. This is what I start doing, and we know where we know where this is going.
Says you like all the dogs. All right, let's talk a little of the undercards, and we'll get to Usyk. Hand up on me on this one. I know nothing about this fight. Fundora Tszyu? I don't even know how to say the name.
Tim Tszyu, son of
Tszyu. Okay.
Tszyu. The first fight was interesting. Fundora won a decision, but Tszyu got a gash on his forehead that, like, he looked like one of the zombies from The Walking Dead after round 2. It's actually crazy Fundora didn't get him out of there. Tim is a small favorite this one. He suffered a brutal stoppage loss to this Eastern European whose name is brutal, but it was
a bad stoppage.
He suffered a bad stoppage, and Fundora also basically got starched out cold by Brian Mendoza in the center of the ring with just a beautiful left hook. They've both bounced back. I like Tszyu. I think Tszyu is going to just find a way. To me, Fundora, as great as he is, they call him the Towering Inferno. They don't weigh that much, but he's like 6'6". Like, it's kind of freaky. To me, he just sort of doesn't have a second gear, but he's great. Where I feel Tim has just that second gear, I think he's going to bite down on the mouthpiece and get it done. And I really hope he does, Nick, if you catch my drift.
All right. So, all right. I like that. All right. So so what's the Pitbull Fierro we want to talk? Or the
Fierro pulled out.
Yeah.
We don't know what they said, medical emergency. So Pitbull is going to be a massive favorite, and he's a cool fighter.
So that one's just gone. Oh, did that just happen?
Yeah, a little while ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Omar Salcido.
Yeah, he was on the undercard, and Pitbull's probably a 20-1 favorite or something. Gun to head, I'd lay it, but I don't like those that much.
Well, I'm hold on. I'm just telling you right now. Again,
Wait, go on. What is the line, by the way?
I mean, at DK right now, you can get Cruz. Wait, is that who he's fighting? Hold on. Do I have it wrong?
Salcido?
No, Omar Salcido against Isaac Cruz. Is this what we're talking? Yeah.
I believe it's Isak Cruz.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Isak Cruz minus 1,100.
So 11-1. I mean, that
you can
sounds
just add
right.
that to your other ones.
One thing I believe in the fight game in general is that all these young guys are all evolving. They can evolve quicker between fights, in my opinion, than the old days, because there's just such an influx of content and and things to watch, so on and so forth. You see it in poker too sometimes. A kid will just reinvent himself out of nowhere. Where back in the day, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
world sort of moves faster. So these huge favorites, I'm a little bit skittish, but Pitbull's gonna win. He's probably gonna stop him. I mean, but I'm not betting that fight.
Okay. All right. Let's go to London. Usyk against, again, is it Dubois? Dubois?
Dubois.
Dubois. Usyk is, at least on DK, 3-1 favorite. Dubois right around plus 250. What's your thoughts on that?
So it feels like they kind of got that line right, like they often do. Um, Dubois has really reinvented himself. Masterful stoppage of Anthony Joshua, heavy hands. This is a rematch where there was a little bit of controversy. Usyk got hit kind of on the belt line. From one angle, it looked low. From the other, it looked legal. And he went down and he was kind of acting like he was really hurt and got a long count after it was ruled a low blow. Personally, I feel he was okay and was just kind of doing weird gamesmanship, and I don't really know. I've watched it multiple times. My general rule is keep betting on generational talent that's undefeated. So gun to head, I would bet Usyk, and I probably will be taking some lazy price last minute and pacing around the living room. But I don't
That's
have
a that's or if that fight's in London and you're in Vegas, that's an early afternoon sweat before
That's
you
early
head to your
afternoon. It's a
fight.
great day. We got Usyk afternoon, and then we're pulling up to the Grand Garden Arena, baby, for to watch Pacquiao, to watch 72-year-old Pacquiao get out there.
What a Saturday! It makes
Yeah,
me wish I'd stayed in
yeah.
Vegas for another couple
And I think
days.
Poirier Holloway is on tomorrow, MMA, so we might have the phone going. It's all happening.
Do you have anything you want to say about Poirier? I know we've been talking
I've
about the
I've
Poirier fight.
I've 86 myself from even allowing my mind to generate opinions on MMA, but I'll
Okay.
watch and I might get wrapped in, but I just
All right. One more boxing question before we go. But to be
I
clear,
like Poirier though. I
okay.
think. Never mind, never mind.
So you like Pacquiao? Who did you say in the Tim Tszyu fight?
He's fighting Fundora. I like
No,
Tszyu.
that's
I
what I
like
thought. That
Tszyu.
so Pacquiao and Tszyu you like?
And again, I like Pacquiao at that price I got.
Yes.
I still could see youth prevailing in the whole thing, but that plus 400 was we knew that wasn't going to last.
Right. So you got it at a sharp price because right now, for our audience has to be even more confident than you were because right now it's you got it basically double. It's right now right around plus 210. Barrios is minus 275. Listen, I'm not a professional gambler. You're a professional poker player and gambler. Some would say you have the perfect hedge opportunity at minus 275. I say if I wanted to hedge bets, I would be a stockbroker instead of what I am. I'm out here to gamble, but I have a regular income stream. But I guess
I'm
you do
more,
too.
yeah, I'm more of the bet more type. I don't like the hedging. I have a friend who's a master of the hedging and the arbitraging, and I get it, but it's such a grind, and I'm just not organized enough to even execute. I'm a one and done. I see a
Yeah.
line I like and I fire.
All right. Couple minutes before we go on 2 months from now in Vegas at Raiders Stadium. I mean, it's gonna like a massive place for a boxing event. Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back and forth on this one. On the one hand, you cannot see Bud in the ring with somewhat prime Triple G, Dmitry Bivol, despite the fact that Canelo lost. Even Kovalev, even alcoholic old Kovalev was still, 6'1", big. You can't see Bud in there with those guys. Bud got rocked by Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's, my wife is bigger than him. I mean, really, like, but you do see guys move up in weight and fill out. Um, Canelo has looked not as good lately. His last performance, I actually rewatched it, even though it's the most boring fight of all time, against William Skull. I feel he sort of just didn't try. Like he knew he'd get the decision, and just this guy was running around the ring. And Canelo is just kind of lead hand down, just sort of. People are saying he can't cut the ring off anymore. I'm not sure about all that. He was just cashing checks and doing just enough, maybe. If Bud stands in the pocket with him and trades, I could see Bud getting hurt. He didn't look amazing at 154 against Madrimov, but he did get the job done. And that guy's quality. And I don't know if I should say, I feel like I shouldn't say this, but I'm just going to say it. Uh, Phil Ivey likes Bud, and it isn't like he's just riding with Bud because they're cut from the same cloth, or you know what I'm saying? He doesn't.
Yeah.
He'll bet whoever he likes. He's not just rocking with Bud out of love. He is a ruthless sports bettor, and his position is that we have the GOAT on our hands. He believes Bud is perhaps just the GOAT. And that kind of hit me because we always talk about the fights for real, and he's Razor, but also he could sail too, and doesn't get him all right. Don't get me wrong. But he said, yeah, he's like, and he knows a lot of people in boxing. A lot of his family are in boxing gyms, or for real, like he's just juiced in with a lot of guys, his teams and stuff. Phil could walk into any boxing gym in America and get immediate love from people he just knows. He said his people believe that Terence Crawford is, we're not going to put him above Ali or whatever, but going to go down as one of the 5 greatest fighters of all time, and he's that good. So
wow.
I was Canelo all day due to you just cannot break the rules like this and move up 2 weight classes from a weight class that's already too big for you. Kind of. I mean, he's sort of matured into 54. But after Ivy said that to me, apologies, Phil, if I hope he doesn't see this, or I would never give his plays away, but this one I'm just too excited about. After he said that to me, now I might just rock with Bud because I love him anyway. Bud against Errol Spence was the biggest sports bet I ever had. I had Terence Crawford. I just believed he's just too good,
The biggest sports bet you ever had?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a big bet.
Yes. It wasn't actually that. I fire bigger in the poker. When I say that, you'd be surprised. Don't get me wrong. It was a real number, but it wasn't like.
Here's the deal. Your mind is warped by what a big bet is and what isn't by the fact that you're hanging out with Ivy and with guys who are who are just firing, and also guys, not just Ivy, but guys who might put.
One time, Ivy gave me 10% of him in a craps roll. He said, "Just take 10% for luck, Nick." I said, "All right, cool." He came up to me later, told him I owed him 85,000. It's been a long time ago, man. You know what I mean? I did not see that one coming. I told him, Phil, I'm going to need a minute on that one.
That's true story.
No, that's real. Yeah.
You didn't. So you had 10% of him, and you didn't stay and sweat it.
No, we were in a tournament, and it was all love, and he would never ever give a wrong number. No,
I didn't mean sweat it like.
No, I know, but I'm saying no. It was just one of those things. We were hanging out, and he put me on for 10, and at 85 times 10 it was a big loss. I didn't see all that coming.
I actually had heard you. I think you told that story once before, so I didn't remember the number. I knew that happened, but just because. In case he is a little mad at you giving out his pick, you have to tell one other story that makes him sound so incredibly cool, which is when you got the massage and didn't have.
Yeah, I was getting a massage in a poker tournament. I had no cash on me. He was at the table, and I said, "Phil, can I borrow a little bit to pay for the massage?" He said, "I got it, Nick." And he reached in his pocket, gave her a $5K Bellagio chip. He said, here you go, honey. We're at 5, Nick. No rush. 5.
It's just so good.
Legend. All-time legend.
He tips the masseuse $5,000 that you then have to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.